Hello guys, it's Cy Ragsdale with Designs by Cyrus, and I'm a floral design teacher in Northeast Texas, in a small town called Two Springs. And I'm back here today to share with y'all one more little tip before we go to the weekend about dozen roses. This is just a traditional dozen roses. So the couple days before, we did it Friday before this year, I'm sorry, instead of like a couple days before, because Valentine's Day is on a Tuesday. So I have a customer that needs a flower arrangement today because they'll be out of town all next week. So I'm going to get it all to them today. It's one of our employees in our school district, and I'm going to show you how we make a basic dozen roses from our classroom. So we green all our bases the week before, so that's today. And then they'll be ready Monday. We'll make all these beautiful arrangements into dozen roses, half dozen roses, and bud bases, and then they'll be ready to go out. So, excuse me, real quick, let me tell you how we do this. We start with 10 pieces of salal. We gather them up in a bundle, and we stick them down in the vase where they rest just on the top of the lip of the vase. Then I come back with 3 leather leaves and fill in around that first layer of vase. Then I have 2 leather leaves that stick up, kissing each other in the middle. That's all I do to start with. Then I give my kids probably 1 or 2 extra pieces of lemon or leather leaf to fill and feather at the end. So, this particular person ordered pink roses. These are a pink Floyd rose. They are hot, beautiful pink. These are some of my favorite flowers for like if you want a deep, deep, dark pink rose, this is it, okay? So she ordered a dozen roses, which we sell for $40 out of our classroom, which makes us make about $15. We don't sell them anywhere near what a florist would sell them for because we don't have overhead to cover and all those things. So it'll have 12 pink Floyd roses in it, a stem or 2 of wax flowers or filler flower, and a bow to finish it off at the end. All of our dozen roses we send out of our classrooms have bows on them. Now, they're not all Valentine's themed. Sometimes they're just pink, sometimes they're just springy, sometimes they're cheetah, sometimes they're zebra stripe. It's just kind of depending on what the particular person orders. So I'm going to go through my dozen roses real quick, and I'm going to look for the tallest, straightest rose to finish this beautiful arrangement off at the very end. Okay? So it's going to be one of these 2. I think I'm going to go with this one, even though it's not maybe the most straightest, but it's got the biggest head. So we're going to leave that one for the last. Okay, so I'm going to sit it over to the side, right over here with my ribbon. And I'm going to get a floral knife, and I'm going to start selecting roses to make a dozen roses. So, in one of my previous videos, we did a premium dozen roses, and that is when we add extra products, like a value product or something, to the dozen roses to help them add a little bit more glamour. They're a little bit more expensive. But these are just basic, normal dozen roses. Okay, I'm going to pull off the bumped and bruised petals. And then if you want to make your bloom open a little more, you can blow air into it. And it'll open just a little bit. Or you can spin it if you're really concerned about it. Or you can reflect the petals. I don't recommend reflecting petals on a Valentine's arrangement. So your first flower needs to be a vase and a half taller. Okay, your first layer, which we will put 6 on the bottom layer of vase and a half taller. So here's a vase and a half. Okay, so I'm going to cut it about right there. And you can leave the greenery on it like this if it's real nice and stuff. And if you see any thorns when you're doing this, just pop them off. Okay, this goes on your first layer of greenery. Okay, vase and a half. Cut, pop those ugly greens off. Look around the petals. Take off whatever needs to be taken off to make it pretty. Okay, and you're just going to continue going around. Now, I normally let mine stick out more like this, and then I always go directly across. So I put one here and then I go directly across and do one at another angle, because it helps me know where to put the next one. Okay, so that's a couple bumped and bruises, and then I just start filling it in. So you're going to have 3 on each side that stick Okay, now, they don't all have to be perfectly the exact same length. Even though if you're doing certification, level 1, a level 2 certification with your kiddos, you want to make sure they're pretty close to the right length, because that's a major grading flaw that they will be counted off for in the Floral 2 cert. Okay, so I have 4 right there. So sometimes your spacing kind of gets off, just kind of keep going. Base and a half. Cut, pull all your foliage that's going to go below the waterline off, or anything that looks tired, pull off the rows. Okay? And then you just feed it into the arrangement. Okay? Some of designers let them stand up a lot more taller and not out as much. That's perfectly fine if that's the way you like them. Do it that way. We do them both ways. We do them out real tall. We do them out to the side a little bit. It just depends. So base and a half. Sorry. Pull off your foliage. This one's absolutely gorgeous. It's a big, fat, beautiful rose. And I'm going to bring it in at an angle right here. So you're literally just gridding your vase together with your roses, okay? So level 1 is finished, okay? Just like that. Level 2, I'm going to do 5 roses. So this is going to be double the vase. So 1, 2, and cut. Okay? You're just going to cut just a little bitty bit off the end of this rose, okay? And this one, this level, it has 5 in it, and they go all the way around with these 2 leather leaves in the middle. Okay, and they're going to be substantially taller than your first level. Okay? Now good? Okay. Okay, so you're going to do 5 in this level. I have 2 in so far. 2 times the vase. And it's also really important that people want dozen roses to be really pretty and everything. Okay, so this rose has a little bit of a brown petal in the middle of it. So I'm going to try to pull that petal out. There we go. Pull that petal out of that rose. Okay? So we've got 3. Beautiful guys standing up at the top there. 1, 2, this one just takes a little bit off the end. So you really want to make sure you have long, beautiful stems. When I first started teaching floral design, I was real bad about teaching kids to compact flowers down into the arrangement. That is not correct for a rose arrangement. And for most arrangements, you want to be able to see the stems, because you have a lot of value in those stems. Use what was given to you for free, okay? So if you have somebody that wants to order long stem roses, make sure you give them long stem roses. That is what they're ordering, that is what they want, okay? So there, we got those 2 in there. So we have 11 roses in there so far, all the way around the vase. My spacing got a little bit off over here. It's not bad. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of turn around and look at it real quick. Okay, and my last rose is my tallest rose, and it's double and a half. So the way, I'm sorry, you can barely see me. So the way you do double and a half is you go right here, double and a half. So I'm literally going to cut basically nothing off of this rose. I'll cut a little bit off because it's been in the cooler. That's about it. Okay? And I'm going to put it right up in between these 2 leather leaves that are kissing in the middle. Okay? Just like that. Okay, so it's kind of standing way up tall in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to come in with a couple pieces of leather leaf because this is technically correct. You could send this out any florist and get $90 to $100 for this, $150 for it, depending on your geographical area, and people would be tickled. Okay, this is technically correct. Now, this is not correct coming out of my shop or out of my classroom. This is a little bit bland. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit more stuff to it. We're going to bring in just a couple pieces of leather and stick right down in there, and just kind of fill in right around that top one. So just a couple more pieces of leather or solal will work either way. And then I'm going to look at the base. If I see a bunch of greenery in the water, I'll remove that greenery. Okay? So before I put my filler flower in, I'm going to come in with my bow next, which I have this really pretty pink ribbon and this purple ribbon. This is a really feminine looking dozen roses. So this is what I'll do, okay? I'm going to set this over to the side real quick. I'm going to tie this bow up. I'm going to put maybe I'll put the pink on top. So I'm going to make a 2-loop bow. So I'm going to go down a couple inches, pinch, twist the bottom, make a loop. Pinch, twist the bottom, make a loop, okay? For most of my rose arrangements, I do a 3 to 4 loop, maybe 5 loop bow, depending on what the person orders. I also will just do basic, I'll do just a 1 loop ribbon sometimes as well. And that's kind of few. So I'm going to do a 4 loop bow on this one. Lots of the time I do odd numbers. I didn't do an odd number on this one. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But if you wanted to, there would definitely be a reason to. Okay, so sometimes when you're making roses on Valentine's Day, you're kind of in a time crunch. And you don't always have time to do everything like you always would, especially people that order the day of Valentine's Day. And we always charge more for those people, even in our classroom. If they order the day of Valentine's Day from us, we charge just a smidge more than if they would have ordered at the correct time. So I'm going to get a stem. I'm going to wrap this wire on the stem, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to look in the front where there's kind of a hole. You have to decide where the front of your arrangement's going to be on a dozen roses. And I'm going to look for a hole. And I'm going to stick my ribbon right down in there. Okay? Just like that. And I'm not, see, I stuck my ribbon right down in there, just like that. So I am not going to crinkle these. I'm actually going to kind of roll these a little bit. Okay. So I really like rolling ribbons as well. It's really a good texture. And then I'm going to let these guys just kind of stick up in the arrangement back in here. Okay? Like this. Okay, so with your bow in there, it's still really pretty. It's ready to go. But we're going to add just a little bit more to it, which is a filler flower. Every dozen roses have filler flower. We use baby's breath very little. And one reason we do is because it's a little bit, it's really not the most economical one, if you really think about it. It's really not the most economical filler. It's also the least up-to-date looking filler as well. So I don't like using it that much, but I do like using wax flower or limonium or even Solidago. I really like using those couple of different kinds of fillers. I think they make your arrangement really pretty. Okay, so I like to put a couple in here that are really, really pretty and add a little texture to your arrangement. Our roses are getting a little crowded right there. There we go. Okay, cool. Got one rose that's kind of touching the other one. I don't want any roses really just up on top of each other if I can keep from it. So this is our dozen roses, just our plain old dozen roses that we send out in our classroom. I'll get a little bit closer to y'all so y'all can see it. This is a beautiful dozen roses that is ready to be delivered. So if you turn, like these are a little bit close together. I'm gonna fix that real quick, I don't like that. If you turn this dozen around any which direction, you should be able to see roses all the way around this whole arrangement, okay? And no point should your greenery be eating your roses, okay? So this is a very quick, easy way to do this. Is this the most perfect dozen in the whole world? No, it's not. But is it technically correct? Yes, it is. And it's very industry standards, and you will sell them like hotcakes at your school district. So I'm so glad y'all tuned in with us for a couple videos today. They'll all be posted real soon, and I hope y'all enjoy these videos. Please, please, please go follow me on Designs by Cyrus. Also, you can follow my personal page, Cy Ragsdale, and you can see what we do in my classroom through that personal page as well. And you can also see what we do as an ag teacher on a daily basis. I love flowers, I love teaching agriculture science, and I love teaching floral design, and I love sharing the joy of flowers with people all over the place. Y'all have a blessed day and a very safe and joyful weekend, and enjoy your Valentine's Day with the ones you love. Thanks, guys.